Thank you, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Alice Hooker-Stroud. For many of you, this will be the first time that you see Alice, her very first time that she'll be speaking to conference as leader of Wales Green Party. She started her role as leader in January, and in the run-up to the election, she's built up the party and built up the momentum towards the Welsh Assembly elections. She's an inspiration to everyone who meets her, and I look forward to hearing her speech so she can inspire you all now.
Prynhawn da, Cynhadledd. Good afternoon, conference. It's great to see you all here today, and thank you so much for such a warm welcome to my first conference. Diolch am croeso cynnes. Mae Plaid Werdd Cymru erioed wedi bod mor agos I ennill seddi yn y cynulliad. The Wales Green Party has never been so close to winning seats in the Assembly. In the Welsh Assembly elections this May, we can and we will win seats. This year, we will get our first green Welsh Assembly members. Ym mis Mai, fe allwn ni ac fe wnawn ni ennill seddi yn y cynulliad. Y flwyddyn yma, fe wnawn ni sicrhau ein aelodau cynulliad gwyrdd cyntaf erioed. The fact that we are so close to this breakthrough is due to the hard work and dedication of Pippa, Anthony, and of all our members and supporters. Diolch I Pippa, I Anthony, ac I holl aelodau Plaid Werdd Cymru am ei waith galed dros y blynyddoedd. Eich gwaith galed chi sydd wedi ein rhoi ni mewn sefyllfa arferchog yn fynd I fewn I etholiad y cynulliad. It is because of your hard work that we are now on the cusp of winning seats. And it's such an honour to be standing here, leading the Wales Green Party during this incredibly exciting time. Thank you all. Diolch I chi gyd o galon. We enter the Welsh Assembly election a determined and energetic party. A party that is 3 times the size as it was just a year ago. And together, I know that we can build a better future for Wales. Our current Labour government in Wales has been in power for 17 years. 17 years, ever since the Welsh Assembly was first established. And I know currently everybody thinks, hey, a Labour government, that sounds great. And I do think that as Greens, we must count it amongst our many successes, that the policies that we have championed, the values that we hold, are now being adopted again by other parties. But Welsh Labour, Llafur Cymru, is a different beast to Labour that we see in Westminster. Carwyn Jones, the first Minister of the Welsh Assembly, unfortunately is not Jeremy Corbyn. And the resounding message that we get in Wales from communities, from campaigners, from representatives of public bodies and workforces across Wales after all of this time of a Welsh Labour government is this. The Welsh Government makes promises it never fulfils. It publishes glossy reports and lofty legislation, but never delivers. And worst of all, perhaps, is that it raises levels of expectation, but leaves those on the front line, our doctors, our nurses, our teachers, our volunteers in our third sector organisations, to face a dissatisfied and increasingly exasperated public. The Wales Green Party will bring strong voices to the Senedd and hold our government to account. They will make sure that they have plans in place to meet their targets, to back our communities, our public bodies and our workforces. The Wales Green Party will push not only for stronger legislation, but we will make sure that it is delivered. We will bring new ideas and new energy to a stagnant and tired assembly. Now, I was born and brought up in Wales. My parentage is English, but I was fortunate enough to learn through the medium of Welsh in our local school. And I've benefited hugely from the wonderfully supportive and close-knit community around me. And I love our country. I love Wales. It's my home. I love our culture, our language, and our traditions. I love that in Wales, it's macho to be a poet. I love that our literature, music, and performance is celebrated every year in Eisteddfodau, from local ones happening in primary schools to our national Eisteddfod, the biggest celebration of our culture in Europe. And I love that when I was young and I competed in Eisteddfodau, when I stood up on stage as a tiny child reciting poetry, just like all of the other 30 children in the classroom who recited exactly the same poem as I did, that each of us were given individual feedback for our efforts from the judges. It wasn't necessarily about who won, it was about the fact that we all had something to offer. And that's the value that we embody in our children in Welsh communities. I love that we have a long-standing history of progressive politics and progressive values. We had laws in the 11th century that gave women rights that were not paralleled in the UK until the 1920s. I love that Welsh international Gareth Thomas was the first openly gay professional rugby player. And of course, I'm very proud that it was a Welshman, Aneurin Bevan, who first brought us the idea of the NHS. I love that we are humble, but we are simultaneously strong and proud. I love that we have a deep sense of fairness, of loyalty and friendship. I love that despite an onslaught of neoliberalist ideas, we still understand in Wales that we are all part of the fabric of society, that what lifts us as a whole is what lifts us as individuals. That living in a caring, fair and supportive community is what makes our own lot worthwhile. One of my favourite facts about Wales is that we are more likely to know all of our neighbours by name than any other part of the UK. But unfortunately, not all facts about Wales are as positive as this. 40% of people are unable to adequately heat their homes. Almost a quarter of households in Wales live in relative poverty. That means that they struggle to put food on their tables. And half of those households are earning households. Wages in lower paid jobs in Wales haven't gone up for decades. And I read a blog the other day on one of Wales's only national online media outlets. It was a list of 13 things that you're scared of if you're Welsh. 2 of them were getting around by rail and using your mobile phone. I mean, it's funny, but unfortunately it's true. Why can't we get from north to south in Wales by rail without going out through England first? Why can't we communicate, not just by mobile phone, but by decent broadband connection across Wales? And now, on top of this long-term neglect that we've seen in our communities, we have threatens to our public services, those essential elements that hold our communities together. Schools, libraries, health centres are all being taken away from us. Instead of supporting and developing our communities, our government is breaking us apart. And despite the fact that climate change was earmarked by far the most critical issue in a survey of the Welsh population recently, greenhouse gas emissions in Wales have actually been rising over the last few years. We have coastal towns that are simply being left to the sea. Welsh Government has decided that it's not actually worth putting the money into sea defences anymore. We've seen through inland flooding recently that not only are we not dealing with the impacts of climate change that we see now, but we are definitely not prepared for those that we see in the future. None of this is sustainable for Wales. environmentally, socially, or culturally. And only the Wales Green Party will fight for real action on climate change, for resilience, fairness, and equality to be proofed across all areas of Assembly work. Yn y cynulliad, mi fydd Plaid Werdd Cymru yn ymladd dros bolisiau sy'n cryfhau ein cymunedau. Mwyn sicrhau bod gan bawb yng Nghymru fynediad i wasanaethau iechyd ac i addysg dda, i greu swyddi da yn yr economi werdd ac i chefnogi busnesau lleol, mwyn creu tai cynaliadwy i ni gael cartrefi gynnes a fforddiadwy, ac i wellhau trafnidiaeth cyhoeddus mwyn cryfhau y cysylltiad rhwng ein cymunedau. In the Welsh Assembly, the Wales Green Party will fight for sustainable and vibrant communities, with jobs fit for the future in the green economy, where money stays local and local businesses are supported to develop, where we have affordable homes which insulate us against high bills and cold snaps, affordable integrated public transport that connects our communities in Wales together. And we will fight for education and health services for everyone across Wales, in rural and urban areas, services with people at their heart. The Wales Green Party has solutions to many of the problems that we face in our communities across Wales. Solutions that are based on those values that we already hold as a population in Wales, on fairness, on care, and respect for one another. Solutions that tackle not just social but environmental problems too, together. Solutions to both local and global problems. Mae gan Plaid Werdd Cymru atebion I broblemau y mae cymunedau ar draws Cymru yn ei wynebu. Atebion sydd â sylfaen mewn tegwch, gofal a pharch. Atebion i'n broblemau cymdeithasol ac ein broblemau amgylcheddol. Atebion I broblemau byd eang a broblemau lleol. Atebion sy'n plythu gyda'i gilydd. A gyda'n gilydd, mi allwn ni creu cymdeithas chynaliadwy, cyfiawn a theg yng Nghymru. Together, we can build a better, a fairer and a more democratic Wales. We can together build a Wales that works for us all. The Wales Green Party stands for a political system that puts people first, an economy that gives everyone their fair share, a society capable of supporting everyone's needs, and a planet protected from the threat of climate change now and for generations to come. That's the future that we want to create, and we know that we can do it together right now. Y flwyddyn yma, mi fydd pawb ar draws Cymru yn gallu fwrw pleidlais dros Plaid Werdd Cymru. Ac mi fydd pleidlais dros Plaid Werdd Cymru yn sicrhau seddi I aelodau cynulliad gwyrdd yn y Senedd. This year, everyone in Wales will have the chance to vote Green. And a vote for the Wales Green Party will put Green Assembly members in the Senedd. Assembly members that stand up for our values and that stand up for people, for planet and for Wales. Dros bobl, dros y blaned a thros Gymru. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much.